Hi all, Mary Bulger here, Naturalist with Iowa County Conservation. And today I thought we would talk a little bit about snakes. Snakes are one of my favorite animals. They're very fascinating. I know to some a little bit scary, but I like to use live snakes in some of our education programs. And today I'm going to teach you a little bit about the background of some history, biology of the snake, and we're going to meet one of our live snakes today. But first, I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about snakes. And so I'm going to turn my camera here so we can look at a few different things. So here I have some really neat tools set out. And so if we're taking a look here, we all probably can recognize this right here, a skeleton from a snake here. This is a smaller skeleton. It says non-venomous snake, so that means not poisonous. But you can see how many bones are in the body of a snake. And so that's really what gives a snake its structure. So they have a neat skull. It's very small. And if I pick this up, we can probably see it just a little bit better. You can see this snake, because it's non-venomous, it doesn't have those two big front fangs that venomous snakes would use to inject venom into their prey. And if we take a closer look here too, we can see all of those bones. Now this is a small snake. If I were to stretch this out, I would say this would probably be about a foot. But if you start from here all the way back, it has lots of vertebra that makes up its backbone, those tiny bones that make up the bigger structure of the backbone, and then also lots of little ribs here, probably close to 100. And so that's kind of what the inside structure of a snake looks like. They also will have lots of muscle inside along their body. And so using the combination of their bones and their muscles, that's what allows them to move around, because of course they do not have any legs or feet in order to do that. So looking at another picture here that we have of the inside of a snake, because they're long and skinny, we know that their organs, all of their insides have to be long and skinny. So taking a look at this drawing of what a typical snake looks like, this is its head right here. And so its mouth would be right here, and they have an incredibly long windpipe. So starting right here at its mouth, it goes down, curves around, and then that's where the digestion starts. Its stomach is right here, and then its intestines go all the way down around as well, until you get to the end. That's called the vent. That's where all of the waste comes out. But a few other cool organs. So the heart is, of course, a little bit smaller, but still kind of long and skinny. The liver, this is what right here that you'd kind of look at, long and skinny. And then we also have the gallbladder, pancreas, the intestines we saw a little bit earlier, the kidneys. All of these organs, because the snake is long and skinny, have to be long and skinny as well. One other thing I wanted to talk about before we bring the live snake out is how snakes use their tongue. Some of you may know, but some of you may not, that they use their tongue to smell the way we use our noses. So what they'll do, they'll flick their tongue out, and they will gather all those invisible little scent particles that are floating through the air, the same way we use our nose. So when we sniff in, take a big sniff in, those tiny little scent particles are floating through the air. And then it brings its tongue inside of its mouth, and then it uses something called the Jacobson's organ, which, if we take a look right here, is on the roof of its mouth. It sticks its little tongue in there, and that tells it what it is smelling. So when I bring the live snake out here, you'll probably be able to see that this is, the snake will be smelling the air in that way. So one other neat little thing, I'm going to go around the table here. I wanted to show you today is a snake skin. And this snake skin actually comes from the snake that we're going to be looking at. Snakes shed their skin in a really neat way. Every time they grow, they have to shed their skin. Their skin is made up of scales, which are made up of a protein called keratin. And when they do this, their scales are going to become, if they're a bright colored snake, a little bit more dull, and they become a little bit cloudy. And then they'll start to rub on our snakes, things in their enclosure, but wild snakes might on a log or a rock, and then their skin sheds starting at their head. This is the head, and then it peels off all the way back here to their tail. And this snake shed, I have my tape measure here. You can see we have 4 feet right here, is about 4.5 feet. So that's how long our western fox snake is. You can see there are different kinds of scales here. This is actually the underside or the belly. They kind of have more longer, kind of rectangular shaped scales on the belly. They help protect the belly and help them move around a little bit. And then if we flip it over on the sides and the back, this snake has kind of more oval shaped scales. You can see a little bit of a coloration there, and that is just what's left over from the pattern there on the snake. So I'm going to go over and we're going to take a look at our western fox snake. Here at Lake Iowa Nature Center, we have several education animals. They are out in our main display room, and this is one of them that I'll be talking about today. We will get to meet all of our animals at some point or another when we're doing our Facebook Live events through the next few weeks. And so this is our western fox snake. We have a little bit of an education sign here about our western fox snake. This is one of the most common snakes that we're going to find here in Iowa. This snake lives with us because it was a pet. Someone had it as a pet, but you can't have this snake legally unless you have special permits from the state and federal government to keep them. We can do that here because we have those and we use them for educational purposes. But this snake isn't injured in any way, but is a great snake to use for education programs. So I'm going to kind of open this up here carefully. You can see our snake likes to curl up and hide inside this little cave here. You can see a little bit of the scales right there. So what I'm going to do is pick that up, move it to the side, and we'll be able to see our snake. So this is our western fox snake, and we use this snake for lots and lots of programs every single year, mostly with school groups, but sometimes people that just drop in here in the nature center and educate them about snakes. And so I'm gonna pick up our snake here and give you a closer look and tell you a little bit about our western fox snake. So if I can hold him here. So this is our western fox snake. You can see, remember I was talking a little bit about that tongue flicking, how they're using that to smell, and that is exactly what the snake is doing right now. Taking a few closer looks here, you can see that this snake has kind of a blotchy pattern on top. Tends to be brown and dark in color. But if you take a flip over and look at the bottom side here, you can see it kind of looks like a checkerboard and is really neat. So right now you can see that this snake it's not hurting me at all. It's just kind of hanging out, kind of hanging on a little bit, kind of exploring a little bit. Sometimes when I hold the snakes and use them for programs, they like to maybe go up your sleeve or find a pocket to go in because they feel very comfortable in those kind of dark, confined spaces. You can see, or you saw when I got him out, that he was kind of curled up in that little cave enclosure. And that's where the snake tends to be, or there's also a log under there that it tends to be in. So I want to kind of show you a little bit how a snake naturally moves around. We'll do a few different things today. So our snakes, we get them out to do programs with them, but they need a little bit more exercise than that. So one thing that we do is we get our snakes out and we let them climb the stairs. So here at the Nature Center, we have some carpeted stairs. I'm just gonna take our fox snake over, set it down, and let you guys watch. All right, so there's our fox snake. Remember how long that fox snake was? That recent shed was about 4.5 feet. And so sometimes the snake will go up the stairs, sometimes down. Let's see where our fox snake decides to go today. So you can see as she is stretching out, she looks much, much longer. If we zoom in a little bit, you can still see that the fox snake is using that tongue, kind of sniffing and smelling, trying to figure out what is going on. Another way that snakes will sense their surroundings, besides smell, they will actually feel vibrations. So it's kind of it helps them when they are hunting. They don't have fingers and hands like we do to be able to feel, but they will use the bottom of their jaw, because usually it's kind of down on the ground, or even feel vibrations down as they are on the bottom of their body as they're moving or sitting still. So they can feel a teeny tiny little vibration from a mouse running by. So remember I said earlier that this snake is a non-venomous snake. So it's not poisonous, but it is considered a constrictor. So when it's hunting, it's mostly looking for things like mice, small rodents like mice and voles and things like that. And it will sit and wait for something to run by, and then it will ambush. So it will grab with its mouth, and they're considered constrictors, so it will then squeeze until its prey cannot breathe anymore. Looks like our fox snake is just wanting to stretch out today. I was hoping she'd want to climb the stairs, because that's really neat to see. She's thinking about it. There she goes. Up one stairs. So we have a pretty big flight of stairs right here, and then another kind of a corner, and she usually goes up the whole thing. Oh, there's one and two. I bet you guys didn't know that snakes could climb stairs, but they are using the combination of those strong muscles and bones inside their body to do that. All right, so let's take a look at how our snake moves. Let's say a wild snake would move out in the wild. So I'm gonna put our snake down on the floor here. Any guesses on the shape of a letter that a snake might move in? I always ask kids this when I'm doing a program with them. And some of them usually guess like the letter S, so S for snake. And if we watch as she stretches out, and you can see her body kind of moves back and forth, still using that tongue to kind of smell the surroundings and making sure it's safe. Lifting her head up a little bit. There she goes, like the letter S. And then eventually moving her whole body. At this point in the program, sometimes people get a little bit nervous, but I want to remind everyone this is not a venomous snake. And this snake also visits lots and lots of boys and girls every year, so great program snake. But if you were to find a snake out in the wild, not a good idea to pick it up because this one's a little bit used to being handled by people because it's done a lot. It's always best to view wildlife from a safe distance. Nice to be outside and view them, but not a good idea to pick them up. All right. So I'm going to pick up our snake here and take it back over to its enclosure because there are a few other things that I want to show you today. So we'll walk back over. I'll put our snake back in here. Put a little cave back here and close up the door. And then come back over to our table here. I wanted to share a few resources with you if you want to learn more about snakes. So this is a great little booklet. It's available for free from the Iowa DNR. It's called The Snakes of Iowa. And this booklet has all of our native snakes in here and has great pictures, great information. It's a little bit of a dated publication, and I heard that they're working on making updates on these, but there are great pictures. There's maps of Iowa on where they are found. You can learn about all of the native Iowa snakes here, both venomous and non-venomous. Lots of great information. One thing that I will post in the comments here is a little craft for kids to do. So I'll post this picture or PDF in the comments. So if you are a kid or a mom or dad or someone watching some kids looking for something to do, this is a really neat, easy, simple snake craft to do. It is a spiral snake, and so what you do is you draw the scale pattern and then you cut out along the black solid line here and then attach the tail, a string to it, and then you have your own spiral snake that you can hang from somewhere or put somewhere. Just a few ideas for some different snake patterns. There are many different snakes with many different patterns here. Some of them have solid scale color. Some of them have diamond shapes. Some of them, like the fox snake, has different kind of blotches. Some of them have bands right here with one or more colors. And then some of them have long stripes. So lots of different options that you can use here. So that was just a little lesson on snakes today. If you have any questions, I see, Brandy, you posted a question. I'll answer that in just a moment. Yes, we do have some poisonous snakes here in Iowa. We have 4 poisonous snakes. They are all pretty rare, threatened or endangered species. Great information to find in that Snakes of Iowa book. Or there are also some great Iowa websites that people who go out and study these. herpnet.net is a great one here. You can learn about all different kinds of reptiles and amphibians here in Iowa. So if you have any other questions, be sure to put them in the comments here. Or if you have any requests about different things you want to learn about, we'll be meeting all of our animals in the coming weeks here at Lake Iowa Nature Center. We'll be doing some fun things outside, looking at some wildlife, and we'll be doing some different crafts and stuff, giving those that are at home right now some things to do to help them learn a little bit more about nature. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Please share. Let me know if you have any questions or requests. Thank you. Bye-bye.